Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're going to talk about vector midpoint, how to find the midpoint of a vector, okay? All right, so before I proceed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you've not clicked notification bell, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please do so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right, let's get straight into it. So how do we find the midpoint of a vector? So let's assume we're given this vector here. We have O, A, and A, and we also have, let's say, OB and B. And in the previous video, I've shown you how to find vector AB. Okay, so let's assume we have vector AB. Now, let's assume the midpoint of vector AB is called M. Okay, so how do we find OM? Is that making sense? How do we find OM? So let's M be the vector. So let's get cracking. So what we can say, take this to the side. So if we have this, so we can say, let M be the midpoint of AB. All right, so vector AB, M is the midpoint, okay? So if you remember the previous video, I told you we're looking at vector when I talked about the bus, take a taxi in the previous video. So the same thing. So how do you get to OM? So it's either you go to OA, then AM, okay? So how do you get to point M? You go to OA and AM, or you go to OB and BM, all right? So I'll prefer to work with this OA and AM, all right? Now, but one thing you also notice as well is that because M is the midpoint of AB, so that means I can say this point here is half of AB, while this other point here is going to be what? Half of AB. Are you seeing it? So that means if I want to get to M from O, I can go to OA and AM because I know AM is already half AB. So therefore, I can now say OM is equal to OA, right, plus 1 over 2AB, okay? And this OM, let's assume is the midpoint of what we're looking for, and let's just call it M, okay? So that means all this is equal to what? M. Now, I can further solve this now. So I can now say, therefore, M will be equal to OA. We know OA is A plus 1 over 2. So remember I told you how to get AB is going to be B minus A. Do you remember the previous video? So if you've not watched my previous video, please go back and have a look. Now, we then open the bracket. The midpoint M will be equal to A plus 1 over 2B minus 1 over 2A. We collect like terms. So M will be equal to A minus 1 over 2A plus 1 over 2 what? B. So now we can now say M then, the midpoint is going to be A minus half A. We give you 1 over 2A plus 1 over 2B. So you collect like terms. So M will be equal to 1 over 2A plus B. And now this is the formula for what? Finding the what? Midpoint. So we can now say, therefore, the midpoint, okay, of AB will be equal to 1 over 2A plus what? B. All right, and that will be the answer for that. All right. Good. Okay. So let's go to the next one. So let's pick some examples now, and so we can solve this together. So I have some examples here. So we have this example. We're told if point P and Q are given by P to be 3, -4, and 5, and Q to be -1, 0, and 3. Find its midpoint. Okay? So the midpoint, we're finding the midpoint now for PQ. Okay? For PQ or PQ, right? Or P and Q, it does not really matter. Okay? So let's just say PQ. So we know that the midpoint for PQ, or in this case can be QP, it does not really matter, okay, will be equal to 1/2 P plus what? Q. All right? So we're going to solve this now. 1/2 P plus Q. Okay, it's there. So we have this to be now, this will be equal to 1/2 P plus Q. So it's going to be P plus Q, which is going to be 1/2. The P we have here is what? 3 minus 4 and 5, or make it a bit bigger. We have 3 minus 4 and 5 plus the Q we have here is -1, 0, and 3. Okay. Now I've explained, I've discussed how to add vectors in the previous video. So that will be give you equal to 1/2 is going to be 3 plus -1 -4 plus 0, 5 plus what? 3. And that will give us 1/2. 3 plus -1 out of 3 minus 1, that will give you 2. -4 plus 0 will give you -4. 5 plus 3 will give you what? 8. Now this is going to be scalar multiplication. So you're going to open the bracket. So this will now become equal to 1/2 times 2, 1/2 times -4, and 1/2 times 8. And this will give you 1/2 times 2 is going to give us 1. 1/2 times -4 will give us -2. And 1/2 times 8 will give us what? 4. And that will be the what? The answer for this. Okay? All right. So basically, if you have finding the midpoint of a vector, you just add the two vectors together and divide by 2. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a question to try. Okay. I want you to try this, and you can discuss this with your friend or put this in the comment section. All right. So we're told now that if points A and B is given by 2, 4, minus 3, and B, we have it to be minus 5, minus 2, and 1. We're told to then find its midpoint, okay? So I want you to try this, okay? So just always remember that since it's AB, the midpoint, okay, is gonna be equal to 1 over 2 A plus what? B. Or if you want to put it in terms of the values there, you can put it like this. In terms of the vector itself, you can say A plus B. So it depends, okay? Vector A plus vector B, and you will get the answer for that. All right, so I want you to try solve this and see if you get the answer. Then I'll move on to the next video, which is addition of vectors. All right, so how do you add vectors together and what is the process for doing so? So it's very important that you subscribe and click notification bell. So when I post the next video, you'll be the first person to know. All right, so I'm going to see you soon and have a nice day.